Oh, snap! Your favorite Melky beverage is back with another Nobody Gives a Fuck. And guess what? This rude motherfucker didn't come alone. On the other screen, and I know it's my brother, but I'm still technically waiting on the DNA test. But to be determined, it's KaffDaddy. Welcome back. You clearly have nothing better to do, like me.
I don't. Thank you so much for having me back on the show. I really enjoyed our last episode when we talked about South Park. So, we thought, hey, why don't we bless these amazing listeners with my voice once again on the very next episode, which I'm sure you guys will know what it's about shortly. But, yeah, I don't have much else to do.
Well, I wouldn't really call your voice a blessing, but, we'll go with that for now.
It's up for debate. Yep.
Okay, so before we get started, I got to ask you a couple questions. So for one, you're the newest member of the Mustard family. How does it feel repping yellow?
You know what, man? It's good. I was always a red guy, but then once I tried that yellow, it just got so addicting. And I'm a mustard guy for life. I really do enjoy being part of the family, and the shit that we talk about is just ridiculous, and that's my kind of dialogue.
Spoken like a true mustard. All right. So why are we here? Why are KaffDaddy and I doing this again? Well, apparently we have more than just one thing in common.
Shocking.
Right? Spoiler alert. In January of 2003, the comedian Dave Chappelle, who also is mistaken for JJ on Good Times, Dynamite, released the Chappelle Show. My brother and I were obsessed with 3 seasons of this classic Comedy Central sitcom. With that having said, let's start the show. So, Kaff, how did you get introduced to the show?
So, when the show came out, I was really young. I think I was maybe like 12 years old. So, when you're 12 years old and you see shit like stand up on TV, you kind of get bored and you kind of don't want to watch it just because you don't really understand the full extent to all of the jokes. But then I remember when we were younger, I had to keep going to the cottage, and this is when I was, again, 12 years old, so I didn't want to fucking go to the cottage. I wanted to chill with my friends and do shit, ride bikes and play basketball.
Sucker.
So I was bored going to the cottage. Yeah, I was bored going to the cottage, and I remember taking you had the season 1 DVD.
I had season 1 and 2.
No, season 2 is mine. We'll talk about that later. Mom bought it for me. Anyways, so, yep. So season 1, I brought it with me to the cottage, and I watched it just because I had nothing else to do, and it was just fucking hilarious. I couldn't get over how funny it was. And I remember we actually have a sister as well, and our sister hated the show as well, but then when she came the next weekend to the cottage, she watched it, and me and her just literally watched the entire series the entire weekend over and over again. So that was my introduction to Chappelle, and then that's when I got season 2.
Well, everything was awesome except for that last part. And yeah, like you actually remember Brian?
Of course.
Small ginger that grew into a big ginger.
Yep.
He's the one that introduced it to me. We were stoned one night, and he worked at Cheapy's downtown Hamilton.
Oh, I remember Cheap. I remember going to see him at Cheap.
Yeah. We've had some adventures there, but that's for another pod, for another day. So he bought it, and he got everything at discount. So we were just chilling at his crib, and he put it on. It was a night after drinking and smoking, and he puts it on. He's like, "Have you seen this?" And I'm like, "No." And I've seen Dave Chappelle and things here and there, like cameo spots in movies.
Nutty Professor.
Yeah, Nutty Professor. What's the iconic movie that he's in?
Half-Baked.
Yeah, like he was good in that, but I never thought he was like, whoa. And then all of a sudden he puts on that first iconic episode. And what we weren't sure if it was because we were stoned why it was so funny, or if it was just that much genius at right in front of us. So we were watching it and we just killed ourselves. And I think we watched half of it, and man, instantly became a fan. And so I asked to borrow it from him, and I just went through it, I think within a day or so. And man, some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. And it was something different. It wasn't like your typical comedy show. It was just blurred lines that was out of bounds. And he just really embraced the black culture and threw a little twist in a very comedic way. So that's how I just instantly became a fan.
No, I like that, and I like what you say too. Like, you know, it was completely outrageous, but again, it was so genius because it's kind of like South Park, where the shit that he's saying and doing is so outrageous and so like fabricated, but it's also true. Like, it's shit that's actually true. You know, with a twist on it. Like, for example, we'll go back to the iconic first episode later in this pod, and we'll kind of see what we mean by, you know, adding a fucking twist to something. But it's really a genius show, and to this day, I'm still a huge Chappelle fan. Anytime he releases stand-up on Netflix, I fucking watch that right away. I feel like he hasn't lost his way. Like, sure, you know, some of his older stand-up, like anybody, is always funnier. Like the one with the Sesame Street skit, you know, I think it's "Killing Me Softly." I think
that's "Killing Me Softly." Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, that's iconic and that's classic on its own. But he's still so good, and the shit that he still says, and he's still so unfiltered. And I really respect Chappelle for not bending to the way how, you know, sensitive society is now.
Yeah, he definitely got it together. Not like Oscar the Grouch. But yeah, no, no, it was just something different. So I think that show brought a lot of people together, a lot of cultures together too, white, black, Hispanic, because he's making fun of everyone. It's not just he focused on black culture or white culture. He focused on everyone. He as anyone would say, I'm not racist. I hate everyone differently. I hate everyone equally.
There you go.
So yeah, like it was awesome. But you know, moving on. I want to know top 5 skits on the show. Let's go, Kaff.
All right. So this is hard because there's so many fucking good ones. But these are the ones that stayed with me even when I hadn't watched the show. I rewatched the show like, you know, a couple months ago, but I hadn't rewatched it in years, and these ones stuck with me. So number 5 is going to be the racial draft. I think that skit is fucking hilarious. It's so funny. Think it like an actual draft for different races. It's genius. Number 4 is going to be the Prince skit when they're playing basketball. The Charlie Murphy skit. I think that's fucking hilarious. They go home and eat pancakes after.
Blouses versus shirts.
Number 3 is when the black people get their slavery check.
Oh, the reparations?
Reparation. Yeah, I was trying to remember what the word was. Yeah, the reparation check. Hilarious. Number 2 is Tyrone Biggums, but specifically the fear factor Tyrone Biggums. That is my favorite one. It was a really hard toss-up between that and when he's teaching the kids like about crack and shit. It was either that or the fear factor, but the fear factor one is just hilarious.
He's number 1. He's at a couple. Even the real estate one, that one was really funny too. Yeah, that one's really good. And number 1 is going back to the iconic first episode, the black KKK leader. That one is just so iconic. It's just got so many quotable lines that no matter who, even if someone doesn't like Dave Chappelle, you show them that skit, they're going to fucking howl, no matter what. I think that one specifically, if you don't know Chappelle or you didn't really get into the show, that episode will stand out the most because it was the first one. It was the first like crazy one where you're all like, did he really just do that?
Yeah. And it's crazy. That's the first episode.
It's the first episode.
He started with a bang.
Because that episode, it was okay. It led up to like that. That was basically the mic drop of the episode because you had the car commercial where the woman's titty pops out, which was funny, but it wasn't like iconic funny. And then you have this black white supremacist, you know, singing Woogie Boogie, and you know, and not knowing he's black and
he's blind,
and he's blind, and he's like, dropping N-words here, left, right, and center, and
he leaves his wife at the end because she's a lover.
And he was important for the white movement. Like you just can't script that's just a stroke of genius.
Exactly. That's gold. All right, man. Let's hear yours.
All right. So your list is good. Your list is good, but you left a couple classics on there, like number 5, The Mad Real World.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Like, come on, man. Like you have, was it five black people living with one white person? You know shit's gonna get turned. Like, seriously, collection. I just watched that the other day, and I feel sorry for Chad.
Yeah, Chad, because his girl stole it too.
Oh, he get everything. His dad gets stabbed. His woman gets stolen. Gets kicked out of the house. He's the only one that works at the juice spot. Yeah, I love that episode. So number 4, and I debated with this one, like where I should position it, but it's Tyrone Biggs, or Biggins. Is it Biggins or Biggs?
Isn't it Bigums?
It's Biggums. Sorry, folks. Maybe I'm not as big as a fan as I thought. No, Tyrone Biggums, that lovable crackhead that takes part in an anti-drug speech at an elementary school. That one speaks so much to me because it's just so funny. And Chappelle plays a crackhead like to perfection. So maybe he was one once. I don't know. Number 3, and I'm shocked you don't have this one on your list, Rick James Chronicles. You know, the story of Rick James and Charlie Murphy's encounters. Like,
man, okay. Oh no, you're right. I don't know how that slipped my mind.
I think I know why. Because cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. You know what? I'm replacing number 3 with Rick James. I'm sorry, guys.
Because you're Rick James, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's so funny, and I like how it's a 2-parter, right, or a 3-parter or something like that.
It's a 3-parter, yeah, because he says in that talk about the time I had to whip Rick James' ass 3 different times.
Hey, Kaff, what do the 5 fingers say to the face?
Slap.
It just has joke after joke after joke, nonstop. Like, oh my god, the couch scene, like, just iconic.
I'm pretty sure that is his most iconic skit. Like that and the KKK one are like pretty tied, but I think that, because I remember when like Comedy Central used to have like commercials for that show, they would always have the part where he's like this.
That wig is just like to perfection too. Wow. Number 2, Black White Supremacist. A blind black white supremacist story of growing up. Like, it just doesn't get any better than that.
Speaks for itself.
Woogie boogie. And number 1, and I'm shocked you don't have this on your list either, but Dave Chappelle impregnates Oprah.
Yeah. I thought you were actually going to say a different one than that, but that's hilarious.
No, that one is just funny from start to finish. Like, if you don't know, folks, Chappelle gets a call from Oprah, and she tells him that she is pregnant, and he asks if it is, and she says yes, and he tells her, "Gotcha, bitch!" And he is on the start of the fast lane and the champagne and all that money until it is revealed that he's not the father, and it's Dr. Phil. Fuck you, Dr. Phil, for ruining a man's dreams. Yeah. That episode is so funny, especially the ending where him and Stedman are laughing.
Yeah, and he punches him in the face.
And he screams, "Oprah!"
Yeah. To be honest, I thought your number 1 was gonna be the P. Diddy one.
Okay, so that one, so we can do like special shout outs. I could have made the list. That one's one of them.
Yeah.
I like the episode because I really like, you know, when Dylon chokes.
Yeah.
Chokes like
Stop choking, man.
You're too close, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like so after that scene, and Diddy's like, "You think you can just choke your problems away?" Like,
yeah,
like that. And
so funny.
He wants a sugar cookie.
He's like,
you know, stop. Or like, hey, I want Cambodian milk from a Cambodian woman. Like,
yeah.
Breast milk, you made my day. Yeah, like that one would have been on there if we had a bigger list. but we were only limited to 5, unfortunately.
It's tough.
But that one's good. No, I love the Oprah episode. Anyone who is not familiar with the show, I always get them to watch that episode, the Oprah one, because it's more like it's not something you really have to think about. People know who Oprah is, and if you don't, where the fuck have you been? And the fact that anybody were to impregnate Oprah, they would be the reaction would be the exact same thing. Quit your job, ding 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 ding. I got an announcement, folks. Yeah. I quit. Like it would, you know what I mean? Like that would be the same reaction. I'm sure you would have a similar reaction.
I would do the exact same thing. Everything what he did in that skit was exactly what anyone would do.
Exactly. You would hire Bruce Lee's brother for martial arts fighting tips. You have a painter, a nude painter come in so you can perfect your skills. Massage with a happy ending. A bunch of Asian friends to sing karaoke. Like, come on, like who wouldn't do that? But yeah. So that's my number one.
All right, no, that's a great list. That's a very great list. I thought I was gonna know your list, but no, you gave you some surprises.
Threw you a curveball, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Now this one's gonna be fun. Top 3 quotes. KaffDaddy.
All right, so I'm gonna start this one again. Okay, so top 3 quotes. This was another one that was hard, but these are, I think, some of the most quotable lines in the show. So number 3 goes back to the racial draft.
Oh, of course.
With Tiger Woods. Goodbye fried rice, hello fried chicken. Amazing line.
Now let me ask you something before you go on. Do you think if there was a real official racial draft and Tiger Woods was picked by the black persuasion, would that be his first line as he enters the podium?
You know what? That would be the first or second line. I think if that's not the first line would be "I knew it," followed by that.
Because I do think he's a confused man about his race, because he's got the black side, he's got the Asian side, but I really think deep down inside he thinks he's a homie.
He thinks he's a homie, but he also acts extremely white.
Yeah, but that's like most black guys. So who are we?
Yeah, I mean, look at us, fuck. Okay, so second line is from my boy Tyrone. You already probably know what it is. It's my money, bitch. I earned it.
I mean, but is he wrong? I don't think he's wrong.
He showed up, taught those kids. He went above and beyond and told them where to buy the crack. He did earn that. That's his money. Yeah, Google Maps, fuck you. All you need is Tyrone. Exactly. Like he could have been on the streets sucking the dick for crack, but instead took some time out of his day to teach some kids where to get this stuff. And they learned. One of the kids was writing down the address. That kid really wanted to know where to get that crack. Yeah. And he told them how to get the money. $5, $10, $20 at your mom's purse. Yeah, where to get it, and speak to Martinez. Yeah, Martinez. That was his name. Martine's the hookup. And the number one line is, you've already kind of repeated it like 3 times already, but Woogie Boogie niggas, Woogie Boogie. That, and also niggas make me sick. That his whole speech, his whole hate speech could be your lines that you can because everything is classic, from Woogie Boogie to ends make me sick. Yeah. To monkey this. He just goes to town. So I feel like anything he said is that whole speech. Line. Yeah. The whole speech should be a speed number 1. Yeah. Yeah. No. All right, man. Let's hear yours. I'm excited. Okay. So another one I'm shocked you don't have on here. So my number 3 is "I'm rich, bitch." Yeah. Iconic slogan, and it became the slogan for the show, really. Yeah. It was Darrell. Is his name Darrell? What's his name? The bald guy that was on the show, because he's the one that said it. Oh, who's Ashy Larry? It's Ash. Yeah. isn't it Darrell or Darnell or something? It's
Yeah, something like that. I mean, he was trying to go from ashy to classy, but you know.
He was funny too. He was really funny.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm rich, bitch. I mean, and I feel like people still say that to this day.
So, yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure I've even heard our mom say it.
Oh God, she really shouldn't. Number 2, and I said this earlier, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, classic line.
I know for a fact that's said every day.
Yeah. Yes, to this day. I hear people saying it who like have never even watched the show. They'll say that line.
Of course. And I think it gave an excuse for Rick James to say it too and take the stuff. So yeah. R.I.P. Rick James. I know you had your share of coke.
It's celebration.
Let's celebrate. And number 1, so you said a Tyrone quote. I have a different one.
Okay.
And it stems back to the first episode he's in. Do you know what dog food tastes like, Dia? It tastes like it smells. Delicious.
Yeah.
Like
classic.
That line right there. Like, who says that?
Yeah, because he just twists it, man. Like, you think he's gonna say how bad it is, and then he just no, he's a crackhead, man. That shit's good to him.
Everything's good to him, man. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going. So yeah, like Tyrone. That guy. Chappelle plays a great crackhead, like I said.
I love what after the skit when, like, you know how he has a theme song? Like,
Please, Tyrone.
Yeah, I remember he's taking a shit, and then like Chappelle's like, it was a melted Snicker bar. Like the producers like look at his fingers.
Like it's like it's poopy.
Yeah.
Actually, save that thought because I have a question about that later.
Okay.
For you, okay?
Okay.
All right, so not everything was all happy-go-lucky. Unfortunately, we lost an iconic member of the show in Charlie Murphy.
Yep.
Who, if it wasn't for him in that Rick James skit, I don't think that skit would even come to fruition.
Nope.
He was just so funny, and we lost him untimely. So this is a tribute to Charlie Murphy. The man was born April 12th, 2017. Sorry, he passed away. Sorry, he wasn't born in 2017. he passed away April 12th, 2017 from cancer. Just a sad day in the comedy world. Obviously, he was best known for the Chappelle Show and being the brother of Eddie Murphy. Isn't it crazy how those two look alike? Like the Darkness brothers, they look identical.
They do and they don't. Like, I feel like Charlie Murphy has like a little bit more of like a menacing look to him. You know what I mean? Doesn't he? Like he looks like he wouldn't fuck with him.
No,
but he's hilarious. He's like the most funniest guy ever. But like if you cross him like Rick James did, you get your ass beat.
And I think Rick James did it for 2 reasons. He was high as fuck.
Yeah.
And because he was Rick James.
Yeah. 2 very good reasons.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. No, I mean you can tell who's whom, right? But if you were to stand like far away, you'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
But Charlie Murphy's he's a bit beefier too. But funny, I had no idea he was a comedian until he was on that show.
Yeah.
So Kaff, I want to ask you, what's your favorite Charlie Murphy skit?
I mean, my favorite Charlie Murphy skit, and this is where I'm going to give the Rick James skit its due, is the Rick James skit. I mean, it is the funniest. It's one of the funniest skits in the entire show, and like we talked about it, it was just as iconic as the black white supremacist skit, and the "fuck your couch" line is just so funny. And then when they ask Charlie, or when they ask Rick James, like, why'd you do that to Eddie's couch? He's like, because Eddie can buy a new couch.
Eddie can buy a new couch.
Hilarious. Like, oh man. That whole skit is just gold. The entire time. Or like when Chappelle as Rick James says, "Come over here, bitch. I go have sex with Charlie Murphy." Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, that whole Rick James skit, you couldn't go wrong from top to bottom. And he, like we both alluded to, if they had someone else do that, it wouldn't be funny.
It wouldn't. Charlie Murphy, his comedic delivery was just so funny. Like, because he, like those people who just look so serious and they just say funny shit, and it makes it so funny because you feel like they're dead serious with everything they're saying. That was what he was like amazing at, and I just think that it just played because he's telling the story and he's pissed while telling the story, but the story is just so fucking funny that it just molds together perfectly, So I'd say that is my favorite Charlie Murphy skit by far. That entire one.
Well, and yeah, and I'm glad you said that too, because it was his delivery was a lot about his comedic persona. It was the delivery. He looks like a grump. He looks like he'd fuck you up, but he's a teddy bear at the end of the day. And yeah, his delivery was just off the charts.
All right, so what's your favorite Charlie Murphy moment?
So, man, again, there's so many. I wanted to pick Rick James, but I feel like you were going to do that anyway. So I went with Tyree from the Mad Real World.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays a psychopath that's straight out of jail. He starts so much shit. Like he stabs Chad's father, like he said. He has his buddy Lysol come over, and they tag team Chad's girlfriend. What's her name? Sorry.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, they tag team Katie. That's it.
Yeah, Katie. Yeah.
Because Tron's like, I had sex with Katie too.
Yeah.
And my favorite scene is so when they are in the bedroom, and Katie is gonna first sleep with Chad, but they call her over to Lysol, and she's like, no, I'm okay. I'm gonna go stay with Lysol. And then they're in the bed and they're like having sex, and you can hear Chad crying and he's masturbating at the same time. Yeah,
he's jerking out at the same time.
And Tyree's like, hey, we're trying to make love here.
Yeah, oh man, that's gold.
His eyes go green because of the camera, like like that whole. I mean, the Mad Real World is awesome in itself, but like just Tyree specifically, like
he was the best character on it.
Yeah, hands down. Like Tron was close, but like Tyree, man, like just he's like, you better get a move on, or I'll slap some bacon off your back, like
bacon off your back, bitch.
Yeah. Just bullied him, and he played the perfect criminal. And then fuck Lysol, like fuck it, having Lysol as your friend, man. That you never go wrong there. But so yeah, that skit was just really funny because the Real World, I hated that show.
Yeah, it was a bad fucking show,
and it was like the first reality shows, and it was always, and I don't know if they did this purposely, but there's always one black person, and the rest were all Caucasian and maybe an Asian. Yeah. Like later on, and it's just like, well, what? We can't have more black people? Is there a quota or something?
Yeah, and that goes back to like Chappelle. He's doing things that are outrageous, but they're also true because that was what the trend was. There'd be that one token black guy, and maybe another race, but usually it's all Caucasian and then one black. And then this is just like, no, we're gonna flip it and see how they survive, right? And
yeah,
it's just hilarious.
I love how he flipped the switch, and he's like, "You people." Yeah. What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, the music like scratches.
Yeah, but that was one of my favorite. Like I said, R.I.P. to Charlie Murphy. Definitely be missed.
Yep.
And like you got a buddy behind you.
Nice wait now, jeez.
All right, moving on. So, Kaff, name a character from the show who would make a great movie.
I mean. There's only one man that would make a great movie. His name is Tyrone Biggs. I mean, you can make a movie. You can like a 3-part movie. You can make a whole series. Like you can like make a series kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, but it's fucking Tyrone Biggums. Like he could just get into so many shenanigans, and then you can make a movie about him too. That I think he deserves a movie. I mean, I don't know why he doesn't have a movie yet. Like, why hasn't anyone bought this character?
I think Chappelle reserves the right to release him out into the world because it would be very dangerous.
And that's a thing too with like a lot of the shit that he did. I don't think you can get away with that anymore.
with the culture, cancel culture, and the Me Too bullshit. I mean, they're great movements, but there's too many restraints, like too many strangleholds with it. So I don't think what he did back then, I don't think he could get away with with that stuff. It's a shame because Tyrone, like the adventures of Tyrone would just be hilarious.
It'd be amazing. You know, he like every episode he lives in like a junkyard or something on the streets. He's got like some great supporting characters. Like, you know, like that's actually gold. Like, I think Chappelle, if you ever listen to this episode, bring Tyrone Biggums. You could get away with the Tyrone Biggums show if you just like chill with some of the things. You could get away. It's just a crackhead. Like, people aren't offended by crackheads.
No, I mean, crackheads are people too. What about an animation?
Nah. There's two. No, it's got to be real. I think having it live action is what would really make it work. Because, like, that's like saying It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, if you made that a cartoon, it wouldn't be that good. It's the fact that it's
horrible.
You don't like that show?
No, that show would be horrible if it was an animation.
Exactly, right? So I think there's some things that you can do because it's still grounded in reality. He's just a crackhead that gets into some shit. That's still reality. You don't have to make a cartoon. It's not like Rick and Morty where like you have people going to like different universes, so you have to make it a cartoon, you know? So I think 100% Tyrone Biggums, Chappelle, like I said, if you listen, hire me and Melk. We'll help. We will be your star writers. We have ideas. We have books of ideas for you.
We have stories for years, man. Yeah. So it's funny. So I picked the same character, obviously, because yeah, I think he's multi-dimensional. You can do so much with him, and the fact that he's dysfunctional and he'll do anything for crack just makes a perfect sitcom or movie. Because he's done it already. Like, he's flushed himself down a toilet to escape AA. He stole from his friends, got his real estate license, sold their house, kept the profits, and had a $50,000 crack party.
Yeah, with a giant rock.
He's been on. He's won Fear Factor. He's been on Fear Factor. He won Fear Factor.
He slept on the fire.
He slept on the fire. He ate, was it bull testicles or?
Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah, and he told his girlfriends, like, just put some hot sauce and pretend it's like mine. Like, this guy will do whatever it takes. So yeah, no, Tyrone should definitely have a show, movie. I actually wouldn't be mad if he had a cartoon, like an animation either, because it would make better for merch. I feel like animations always do better with merch.
But you know what you could do? You could have the theme song be animated, so then you have that animated merch, and then the show's live action.
Okay, all right. I see. You're more than just more than just an adopted brother there. Gotcha. All right. So Tyrone. Okay. What would you name your TV show or your movie?
You could call it The Crack Adventures of Tyrone Biggums.
Would that be for the show or the movie?
Oh, that would be for the show. The movie would have to take like the Beavis and Butthead like route where it's like, you know, Tyrone Biggums takes America, or like Tyrone Biggums takes like Thailand or some shit.
Oh my God, Tyrone in Thailand. Oh my God, right there.
That's a movie. That's a movie.
Okay, I like it. So for the show, I would call it He's Tyrone.
He's Tyrone. Classic.
And the movie, 187 on a motherfucking rock. That would be and you don't stop. Yeah. I would, but we have ideas for fucking days.
Like I said,
Chappelle, hit us up, man.
Yeah, like Chappelle, we got 2 movies for you right now. The first one can be Melk's. Mine can be the sequel, because you're going to Thailand, make it bigger. You know, like this is gold.
Now, do you think he would go down on anyone just to get that crack?
Oh, anyone. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who. I'm not going to say what I mean by that, but you know what I mean by that.
So, yeah, he's going to have fun in Bangkok.
Yeah.
All right. It's time to test your knowledge.
Right,
there, sir. You're a big fan. I know you've watched the show. I've seen you watch the show, but let's see how much you know about the show. I got 3 questions for you, okay?
All right.
Number 1, and we talked about this earlier. What is the chocolate bar used in the Tyrone themed doo-doo butter?
Snickers bar.
Yeah,
It's a Melk Snickers bar.
Yeah. I just love how when he was licking the guy who was melting the bar was licking his fingers and
Yes.
I'll look at him like, oh, look, relax. It's a Snickers bar.
Yeah, that's gold.
It's fucking gross. All right. Number 2. Oh man, I feel like you already answered this. In the racial draft, who do the black delegation choose?
Tiger Woods.
Yes, and then the iconic line.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch it. Who do the Asians choose?
Oh shit.
Come on, you know this, man. You know this.
Who do the Asians choose?
Yep. Who do the Asian delegation choose?
The Asian delegation. Fuck, I don't remember. I mean, it's the Tiger Woods. Like the Tiger Woods part is the biggest joke of that skit. Oh
Yeah,
no,
he's the headliner, but they do they do have the Asians choose. I think they had the Jewish community choose as well.
Yeah.
You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you?
Okay, do I get a hint?
No, because the hint would just give it away. So
Okay, shit.
it's music. There's your hint.
It's a musician.
Yes.
It's a musician.
I'm giving you like 5 seconds.
Okay, no, I can't remember.
The RZA, the Jizza, the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, yeah, no.
Wu-Tang Clan. The fuck with. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, okay, I wouldn't have guessed that, but that's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, that's at the end. They choose the Wu-Tang Clan, and you see RZA and Jizza go up, and they're
actually there. Yeah,
they're actually there, and they say "Konnichiwa, bitch."
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's such a funny episode. Okay, number 3. I don't know if you'll get this one. I think only one guy I know would get this, and he's out west. Big ups to you, John. Shout out to you. Can you complete the song? I blank my blank like it owes me money.
I blank my blank. Like,
So it's the episode about STDs. It's like Sesame Street.
Right.
And it's got Q-tips in it at the end. Snoop Dogg's in it. He's one of the puppets.
Yeah, he's one of the puppets. Yeah, I remember that. He was like calling like a kid a bitch. Yeah. It's not I beat my meat, right?
It's something along. Okay, so you got beat right, but it's a different word.
It's not meat. Okay, so I beat. It's not dick. It's not I beat my dick.
Yeah. I beat my dick like it owes me money. Yeah, that's Stinky the Grump.
Yeah, dude, that episode is so fucking nasty.
Guess who does the voice of him?
Who?
Charlie Murphy.
Oh, Charlie Murphy, of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, like that one's so funny, especially the song that Q-Tip sings about VD and like all those other. It's so gross.
So gross. It's so nasty, and like, I can't remember which disease it was, but it's like a white, like, it's like a gray white thing. It's like
It's not the clap, is it?
I think it's the clap. Yeah, that one was gross, dude.
Well, there's the clap, there's gonorrhea, there's herpes.
I remember gonorrhea. I remember herpes, and they have crabs.
They have the crabs. We are the crabs. Oh, it's so gross. So nasty. People, make sure you wrap that shit up or get tested or clean up. Ugh.
Just wrap before you tap, guys.
That's it. No glove, no love.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. You did pretty well. You know your shit. Okay.
2 out of 3. I'll take it.
2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. Okay, so debate time. Stand up versus the Chappelle Show. What did you enjoy more? What do you like more? Give a pro and con for each.
All right, I think I like the Chappelle Show more than the stand-up. The stand-up, like we were saying earlier, "Killing Me Softly" is iconic. It was always on TV, like all in the weekend. It was always on Comedy Central. They reran that shit so much because they knew it was just gold. People like you and I would rewatch it every time it was on. But I think the Chappelle Show, it just had so much more to say, and I think it kind of showed the true colors of Chappelle, because the stand-up, there's only so much you can kind of get across, but with the show, I mean, he had 3 seasons to be able to go on and express what he wanted to do, and when that expression was being taken away from him, that's when he left. Right, that's when he left the Chappelle Show. He turned down what was like $50 million or something.
Hightailed it to Africa.
Exactly, because he didn't want that creativeness to be taken away from him, which I respect. Right, I feel like that just shows that he was passionate about it. He put everything into the show, and I think that that's the main reason why I like the show more. Now, when we go to pros and cons, I mean, the pros is that you just see a way wider diversity of types of comedy in the show. You know, stand up is stand up. There's like stand up always follows like there's a story and there's a punchline. But with skits, there's so many. You can have multiple stories and punchlines in a skit that say different things. So I think that's a big pro about having a show like the Chappelle Show opposed to just stand up. Also, you know, comedy's subjective. It's like stand up in general. If you bomb when you're doing stand-up, it's not funny, right? But like the show can be funny even if you're not laughing at that moment. Like someone else will be laughing at it, you know. So I think that's a big pro about the show. A con though is that not all episodes are made equal. Some episodes are significantly better than other episodes, and especially when you have a show that's like 3 seasons only. Once like if you've seen a certain episode this many times, you know you're not going to want to watch it again, right? So I think that's a big con about having the Chappelle Show opposed to stand-up. But stand-up, I think a really big pro is that there's a different type of energy there. When there's stand-up, like you have the whole crowd laughing. And the nice thing about the Chappelle Show is that it has stand-up kind of in the show, right? But it's not the same as like when he does his Netflix specials or whatever. But the con, though, is that if a joke doesn't land, then like you feel it a lot more. Like it's like cringe almost if a joke doesn't land.
Yeah. Fuck. Damn. Yeah. Couldn't have said that any better. I was about to say better wrap that gavel up, but you know. Oh, that.
What do you like better, and what's your pros and cons for it?
So I'm gonna go with the Chappelle Show too, even though his stand-up is really good, like San Francisco, where he's on the bus and he's talking about the guy jerking off on the bus, like.
Yeah.
I mean that whole skit's pretty iconic. Or the Sunny D, like with the black head, like I want that purple stuff. Like he's got so many hits with the stand up, but I feel like the Chappelle Show. So this is my pro. So I'm picking the Chappelle Show, and here's my pro. I feel like he revolutionized sketch comedy.
Yeah,
just the way he performed, just the no nonsense. I'm gonna cross the lines here, and I don't care. But stuff that's relatable, stuff that people are too afraid to speak of. He did it in a humorous, hilarious manner, and I wasn't mad at it. And if you were offended by it, you should take that fucking monkey out of your ass, because it's really not that bad. It's hilarious. It's
tasteful. That's a difference. Yeah. People think things like people sometimes mix up tastefulness and raunchiness, you know? And his wasn't raunchy. It was actually very tasteful. It was very smartly delivered. So.
Yeah, it was exactly. So for that reason, yes, I'm going to go with the Chappelle Show. The con would be just like you alluded to. There were like, obviously, everything's not created equal, and there were some episodes that are way better than some of the other ones. And as you watch them on repeat, you know your favorite episodes, and you're going to skip some of the skits as you watch, because some of them are like meh, or you know, like when he had the white girl sing about A Day in Life of Chappelle, and he said, "Oh, I want to put my finger up her butthole." Like,
yeah,
that was
exactly.
Okay. Like the first time it was funny because like he hadn't seen something like that, but then it's just like, okay, this is kind of lame.
Yeah, on the repeat watchers, I always skip that.
Yeah, but like Ask a Black Guy, that was funny. Like, or you'd have that comedian Moody or whatever, and they would ask certain questions about blackness, and he would just answer it. Like, some of that was like really good. But yeah, putting it on repeat, sometimes you just know your you know what you like and you know what you don't, so it could get old a little faster, and maybe it's not enough. And also him like running away to Africa, and he had like seasons 3 and 4 in the bag, and he just couldn't do it anymore. I respect him for leaving, because if anyone's taking my creativity away, I don't want to be a part of it.
Exactly.
Not to be original. Stand up, like I do love his stand up, and you nailed it with the atmosphere. Stand up has a different atmosphere, a different vibe. You're live front and center, and it's be eat or be eaten, so to speak, and you need to get your deliveries down. You know, you got to feel the crowd. Sometimes the crowd ain't feeling you, and that's a huge matzo ball hanging out. But no, he was his stand-up is great. But yeah, I'd pick the Chappelle Show, and I'd pick the Chappelle Show over stand-up for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's actually funny too. There's on Big Sean, right?
Yeah.
On his Detroit 2 album, he actually has a skit where it's Chappelle talking about when he like did a show in Detroit, and he said that he bombed so hard. And he even says a line like, when you bomb so hard, and people can just smell the stink off of you. Like, they're like, you okay? Like, he talks about how he bombed so hard, and like that's what that can happen in stand-up. You could be the funniest person ever. Like Dave Chappelle, he's my favorite comedian. I think he's the funniest comedian out there. But like, it's totally possible. You can bomb. You can just have a rough day, or your crowd just sucks, right? Like, and I think that just goes back to the whole, like, agreeing with what you're saying about the big matzo ball in the room.
Well, also, it doesn't help when people are charging your stage and trying to fuck you up after a joke.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Fucking people, stay in your damn seats, man. Man is a genius. He's a fucking genius.
Yeah, stop ruining it for everyone.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think that gavel is sounding, and we're going to part on this episode of Nobody Gives a Fuck. Hung Daddy, Big Daddy, whatever you want to be called. Mom just messaged me, and it's official. You're adopted. So I knew it. Alfred Smith. I knew you weren't one of us.
That's so weird. She literally just messaged me saying, don't listen to Melk. I just sent him that message so he doesn't know that he's really adopted. Wow.
Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Okay, so Kaff, thank you for reminiscing the Chappelle Show with me. I've learned on this pod, our family enjoys laughing at racial stereotypes. Anything you want to add?
No, man. I mean, just thank you so much for bringing me back on the show. It's always nice to find that we actually do have some things in common rather than us just being mortal enemies, like I'd say 364 days of the year. But the only thing I got to add is, I stream on Twitch every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, usually. So definitely come hit me up, King Kaff, 3 Fs. You can find me on the Mustard Instagram. That's all I got to add. Come watch me, bitch.
You watch me, bitch. It's my money, bitch. I earned it. No, that's awesome. Yeah, you follow him on Twitch, even though it's some nerd shit, but give him some love. You can find me on Instagram too. I don't even know what my name is anymore. Everything's like, Blackzilla27, and you can also find me on the Wow and Mustard Instagram page too. Look us up on the Not After 30 network through SoundCloud, Amazon Pod, Apple Pod, Spotify, Google Play, sometimes YouTube, and other streaming devices and networks that I don't know about. We're there. And and also a new Wow I had now. If I could speak, a new Wow I Had Mustard with, of course, KaffDaddy will be out soon as well. Looking forward to that. But as Tron says, night, night, keep your butthole tight. And that is a wrap.